Hi everyone. Welcome to my regular Tuesday live. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. Hard to believe we are creeping up on June at this point. I hope you all are well and happy and healthy. I appreciate you coming out to hang out with me and create with me. And if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you as well. Just going to take a couple seconds to chat and make sure we're connected and able to be found on everybody's news feeds. I have a super cute card to create with you today. Hi, Pam. I'm kind of hoping that we don't lose the video. Our internet and cell service in our area has been horrible this week, so let's cross our fingers and toes that we're all set throughout this whole thing. If you happen to get booted, just back out and come back, and I will be here again. All right, so I see some of you popping on. Hi, Kathy. So tonight I'm continuing to focus on some retiring items. I'm using the Flourishing Phrases. Grab the stamp set here. The Flourishing Phrases stamp set and the Flourish Thinlits that are on the retiring list. We have had these for quite some time, and I have used them so much. Such a great set. But this will be the last of my retiring showcase. Next week, I am going to begin showcasing some all new items from the new catalog. I'm so excited to show you some of these great new finds in the catalog. I should say, I'm also, another item that's on the retired list and is leaving us is the basket weave embossing folder. So this is saying goodbye as well, and we're using this as well. So on our project this evening. All right, looks like we're golden. So speaking of the new catalog, as you may know, the 2020-2021 annual catalog launches June 3rd. I have this beauty in my hands now. Because of all the world's craziness right now, I have scheduled an online catalog launch party. So now it may not be the same as gathering in person, but I hope it will still be lots of fun. I'm planning some games and door prizes and make and takes. Anyone who uses the host code that I will be posting between now and when the online event happens, and when it closes, excuse me, which will probably be a day or two after the event, you use the host code with your $50 order or more, and you'll get the make and takes for free from me. So I'll have some super cute projects to share with you, so I hope you're able to join. And you can see the event on my Facebook page. If you're interested in that, just let me know. Now, I can't show you the inside just yet, but there are some great things in this book. You will love it. I do have some customer copies available, so if you're a local customer, message me if you would like a copy. I am offering porch pickup as always, and local delivery of the catalog. Today I posted a photo of the new in colors on my Facebook business page, and they are awesome. I love them. I really like I think the cinnamon cider is probably my favorite because we don't really have anything quite like it. So anyway, check those out. They're really cute. Pretty cute. Everything's cute, I guess. Okay, so on to some creating. Quick and simple tonight. Don't have a lot to mention. As I mentioned before, I'm continuing to focus on some retiring products this week, and we're going to make this cute, fun, joy-fold card. So it's all about using up some scraps and using this Flourishing Phrases and Flourish Thinlits. Goodness, that was a mouthful. All right, so this is what we're going to make tonight. I agree. I love the new in colors. So much to love about them. So I've used this I've used this, what do I want to call it? Yes. I've used this process of using up your scraps in this manner before. This technique. There we go. Found the word. I just bought it online. And I actually used this in a class once. So you could certainly use a variety of colors. Here you can see I used a rainbow color and a circle die, and just added some simple die cuts to the back of the card. Super simple way to jazz up just a plain, super plain card. It's just really cute. This was one of the celebration sets, the water lilies sets, and that may not be the actual name, but this was one of the die cut sets that we did in a class with this technique in the background. So I really love it. So I love the rainbow effect, but I thought it would be fun to use some of my other favorite colors. And so this color combination is one of my favorites. I love these, all these blues together. So I used, let me pull out my papers here. I used the Pacific Point, Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, Pool Party, and Balmy Blue. So that is all the stripe colors here. And so what I did is I just randomly cut out some strips out of some scraps that I had in the Pacific Point. And they're not all the same size. I just randomly was trimming them all down. And that's what we're going to create our background with. So to create this background, I have a piece of Whisper White that measures 3 by 4.5. And all I'm going to do to start off is I'm going to cover this with a little bit of adhesive. So this is where an adhesive sheet would come in handy if you had an adhesive sheet, but good old snail does the trick as well. And then I'm going to do mine at an angle. I like to do them at an angle because then you don't have to worry about being, you know, your lines not being straight or, you know, whatnot like that. So I'm just going to take a piece of my Pacific Point and I'm just going to do it right at an angle like that. So that's my jumping off point. So all of my pieces after that are going to go and butt up right next to each other. Oop, that one's not long enough. I may find that I need to cut myself some more little scraps here. And you're just going to keep building with your scraps. This is a fun technique to do with a variety of colors. So you could do these in autumn. You could do this in autumn colors for a cute autumn card. Christmas, you could do some Christmas colors. Just a great way to use up your leftovers. I probably could have done some of this off-site so that you didn't have to watch me do this whole thing, but it gives you the gist of what we're going for here. I'm going to take my snips and I'm actually just going to cut down this size here so that I can use these longer pieces and I can keep going on my card here. So now we're going to build the other way. And you could do these any thickness that you wanted. So if you didn't want to do all the little lines, you could certainly do them a little bit thicker and give yourself more of a variety. But you can see that just by cutting them a little bit different, the variety on this one is a little bit different from my last. So I'm getting lost in what colors I need here. I'm talking away, forget what I'm doing. And then this one. And there we go. Yes, our new in colors do complement our current color families really nicely. All right, there we go. Whoops, looks like I lost a piece here. Now I'm really a hot mess here. Okay, I'm going to hit this with a little bit more adhesive. And I'm going to go in with that balmy blue again. And I'm going to trim it off. Hi Shelly, hi Wendy, hi Angela. Thanks all for joining me. All right, so let's move all that out of the way here. All right, now I saw a technique, or I saw this idea from another demonstrator online, and she actually used the Versamark in the background of this image, which is probably hard to see on the video, but I'm going to show it a little more up close to see if you can see in the background where I stamped the big flourish stamp that's in this set. So I'm just going to do that in some Versamark. Grab myself a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to go off the sides here. And I'm going to ink up the top of my stamp. And I'm just going to set it down here. Now Versamark is just a watermark stamp or ink, so it's just going to darken up. So it works perfectly when you are doing several different colors like this, because it's just going to darken each one of them up. And it does get a little bit darker as it dries. All right, so there we go. I've stamped it all the way around. In the Flourish dies, hi Leslie, there are these little dies that come in the Flourish dies. So I cut out a couple of these in the white. And I'm just going to adhere those on a couple of different spots here. So let's go here. So I'm going to hit the biggest spots of these little dies. You can do that little trick that I've shown you with the, oh, why do I always struggle with that name? Lord have mercy. Our matte, where the glue, oh Lord. Our non-stick mat and a little sponge. So you can put yourself a little bit of glue and do the back of your die cut, like the intricate die cuts that we've done before. And the name escapes me. Somebody out there knows what it is. I'm sure they're going to share it. All right, then I'm just going to trim these off as well. Here and here. Okay, so then we're going to set that aside. I have a piece of basic black, and in this stamp set comes a bunch of sentiments as well. This one is just a note. I'm going to again use the Versamark ink here, and I'm going to stamp it right to the side. And we're going to go close this up because I'm going to haul out some embossing powder. And if I don't close it up, I'll have it everywhere. Well, let's see. If I were embossing powder, where would I be? There you are. This is just our white embossing powder. And I'm going to just dump it over the top. And I made a colossal mess. Big shocker. If you have these little pieces that sort of cling on, you can use a little paintbrush and just wipe away the pieces that you don't want. Because any little dots that are outside your words, those will emboss as well. And I made a hot mess with my hands, so. Alright, so then there's that. I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and put my embossing powder back in. We'll cover that. We'll set that aside as well. Do not run your heat tool with your embossing powder open. Lesson learned the hard way. I have done it. I think it's a rite of passage. We probably all have done it. Okay, maybe not. Is it just me? Alright, so I'm going to take my tweezers. And I'm going to take my heat gun, and I'm just going to give this the silicone craft mat. Yes, it is. I don't know why I struggled with that. It was horrible. And embossing powder is sort of like magic. It turns shiny as soon as it's done. You can definitely tell after it's been embossed. Just takes a second, and you want to make sure you do it with a hot tool. All right, then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to snip a little flag. So I'm just going to go up the center, and I'm going to go from each side to that center cut. And that gives you a nice even flag on the end of your note. So we'll go ahead and glue that on with some dimensionals. And we have black dimensionals. I could have used that on this project. It's really what they were designed for. Use on dark papers like this because they're not as noticeable if you were to turn your card, I guess. Okay, so there's that. We're going to set that aside. So the mechanics of the card, I have a coordinating piece. This happens to be Pacific Point, and this is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2. I have a piece of the Pacific Point that measures 2 3/4 by 4. This one I ran through that retiring embossing folder, the basket weave folder. And then I have a piece of Whisper White that is 3 1/4 by 9 1/2. I'm going to grab my scoreboard here. You could also do this on your trimmer, of course. The blue piece I'm going to score at 5 1/2. And the white piece I'm going to score at 4 3/4. Whoops, 4 3/4. And then we will fold those and burnish them. I think I'm going to be finding embossing powder for days. I really made a mess with it that time. I think I tipped it on its side when I opened it and it just went everywhere. It's kind of like glitter. It's the gift that keeps on giving when you're using embossing powder sometimes. Or maybe, again, that's just me and I just make a mess. Could be that too. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear tape. When I'm using embossed papers like this, I like to use the tear tape. It's just a personal preference. I think it adheres things down better than just regular snail. You could also use the liquid adhesive. That would work as well. And the spatula end of your take your pick tool makes for a mighty fine back taker-offer, technical term that I coined myself. And that's going to go right here on this flap of your card base, like this. So now you have your card base like so. Alright, so this piece is going to open in the opposite direction. So you're going to fold it so that it opens to the right. Piece of scrap in there. You're going to use so it opens the opposite way that a card normally would. And your just a note is going to be glued to the front of that card flap. I can hear kids playing basketball outside this evening. That's a wonderful sound. Usually there's a sound of summer around here on our street. I like all sounds of summer just because I'm so ready for summer and the winter and the being shut in to be over with. All right, so that's going to go here. Now I'm going to flip this over completely, and I'm going to put some tear tape on the back of this piece. Again, you could also use liquid adhesive. The tear tape works just as well. The snail, it works. It's just, I just don't find that's got a great bond for heavier projects. Although, sounds like we have some great things coming in the new catalog. We have some new adhesives. Okay. The spatula end of the take your pick tool makes for quick work with the tear tape. It's the bee's knees. Alright, so now this guy, I'm just going to eyeball center. Hopefully I don't get my head in the way. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to stick this one down here and make sure I'm not all off kilter. And there we go. So now it's stuck there. So to open it, to put it together, your card's going to go like this, and like this. And last but not least, of course, we have to bling it up a little bit. So I have some rhinestones from the Holiday Rhinestone Pack. These are the blues that are in that rhinestone pack. And I'm just gonna sprinkle them on in a couple of different places here. That one's alive. Like so. And there we have it. There's our fast, fun little joyfold card. Cute, cute. You could do this in all kinds of different colors. You can see I was a hot mess with the embossing powder on this one. My first one, much cleaner. what can you do? Live videos. I probably would have redone it, but we're live. Yes, sunsets, summer. Thank you guys. Thanks for the comments and for liking my video. I just was going to show you a couple more things I've done with this Flourish stamp set and dies over the years in a couple of different classes. It really is a super cute, pretty, makes some pretty cards. This one I did, gosh, years ago when we had these little doilies, but I actually just watercolored. I punched it out of Whisper White and then I watercolored on the die, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping in. I hope that you will recreate this project and you will come back and see me again. I hope you have a wonderful evening, everybody. Happy stamping. Bye-bye.